April is historically a very good reading month for me, so I absolutely was not surprised when I went on a string of 4-star reads. But also, I had my first and second DNF in April, so that's confusing. If you're new here, hi there. My name is Nanika. I'm a 16-year-old IBDP student, and I mostly talk about my two favorite things, books and journaling. Today we're going to be talking about the 11 books that I read in April, and I'm so excited because April was actually a very good reading month for me. We're going to start with stats because I love stats, you love stats, we all love stats. If you're curious, I track all these things in my reading journal, and the partial flip through for this is already up on the channel if that's something you're interested in. Before we properly get on with the video, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. So, in April, I read 11 books. I read exactly 5,119 pages. I read for 22 days in the month. 5 of those reads were physical reads, while 6 of them were Kindle reads. I didn't listen to any audiobooks this month. My average book length was 465 pages. I had 2 5-star rates this month. I read 2 books off of my 26 and 26 TBR. I averaged about 170 pages per day. I have made 35% progress on my reading goal of 100. I DNF'd 2 books. I bought 6 books. And I didn't reread anything this month. So in case you're curious about the 6 books that I bought, one of them is Cruel King by Rina Kent. It's all the way up on that back shelf and I don't want to pick it up, so I'm not going to. The other 5 are books that my father got me from London. I love him. So the 5 books that I got from London were Unbound by Peyton Corinne. I did end up reading this month. It was so good. Love Song by L. Kennedy. Ooh, wait. Not just the front, guys. Love Song. And then I got Game Changer by Rachel Reid and also Heated Rivalry in the Long Game by Rachel Reid. I've already read these 2. I haven't read this one. So, those are the books that I bought this month. Let's talk about the books that I read this month. The first book I have here is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and in all honesty, I only picked up this book because I really wanted to go watch the movie. It's a really good movie, so if you haven't seen it, please go see it. It's been quite a while since I read a genuine sci-fi novel, and honestly, what a book. Project Hail Mary is a sci-fi novel that follows Ryland Grace, a school teacher who wakes up on a spaceship and has little to no memory of how he got there, and how he discovers that he is humanity's only hope of surviving what is essentially scientific doomsday. I was absolutely hooked. I loved Rocky so much. Grace was such a funny narrator, and the last 100 or so pages had me so stressed out. I did have one little issue with the book, which was sometimes the author switched tenses when they didn't mean to, and that personally icked me out, but it's not a really big deal. I gave this one 4 stars. The second book I read in April was Hunt the Villain by Rina Kent, and I was actually very surprised with how much I liked this book. Hunt the Villain is the second book in her The Villain series, I think it's called, and they're a bunch of dark college romances that are all a part of the second generation of the Rinaverse. This one follows Von Morozov and Yulian Dmitriev, and I will be the first to admit that I was very, very skeptical about this book and this pairing when it was announced. But they're basically heirs to like different branches of the Bratva. Like, I think Vaughn is the heir of the New York branch, whereas Yulian is the heir of the Chicago branch, I'm pretty sure. It's a vibe. Yeah, so I was initially very skeptical. But honestly, I don't think I should have expected any less than 4 stars from Kirill freaking Morozov's son. Speaking of Kirill, I went into this book with just the one ask that there would be a lot of Kirill, and I was not disappointed. Oh, and I won't spoil anything, but if you're a Legacy of Gods fan, I think the epilogue will make you very, very happy. Next up, I read Sin Bin by Chelsea Curto, and this is the 5th book in the DC Star series. It follows Coach Brodie Saunders and Hannah Everett. Hannah is the sister of one of Brodie's players, and she's also a world-renowned figure skater who's currently trying to navigate through a really bad case of burnout. She starts coaching his daughter, and the rest is history. Herstory. Whatever. Chelsea Curto is just an incredible author, and if there's one thing she writes inhumanly humanly well, it is found family. The DC Stars found family is genuinely, I think, one of my favorite found families that I've ever read about. I loved Hannah so much. I think she's one of my favorite FMCs from this series, but I can't say anything because all the FMCs in the series are just so good. You can't rank them, you can't compare. I found her struggle with burnout very relatable, and Brody, like, I was kind of skeptical about him. I don't know why I doubted it. Then I read the last book in the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver, which is Wildcard. I did get this for my birthday. Actually, I think a lot of these books that I read this month were books I got for my birthday. Wildcard is a trope that I've never read before, and that is ex-boyfriend's father. And I was very cautious going in, but I ended up really liking it. I think Bash might be one of my favorite Elsie Silver MMCs, and I literally am Gwen. Honestly though, I think Crazy Clyde was my favorite character, and for all my Chestnut Springs girlies, there's an Eden cameo. The 5th book I read in April was To Bleed a Crystal Bloom by Sarah A. Parker. This book is a Rapunzel retelling featuring Orlaith, who survived this deadly massacre when she was a toddler, and Rodin, who saved her from said deadly massacre. He's now her guardian, and they have this really weird like dynamic going on where she is the one who refuses to leave the bounds of the castle that they stay in. Rodin, I think, is the High Master of the Western Territory. I might be wrong. I don't think I am. And he basically tells her, dude, enough sulking. Like, I'm hosting a ball. Like, you have to be present at the ball. This is the first book in, I think it's an incomplete series. There's 3 books out right now. And that brings us to our very first DNF of 2026, which was the 2nd book in the Crystal Bloom series, To Snap a Silver Stem. I think I made it to chapter 10 before I tapped out, honestly. I don't know how we managed this, but after the DNF, I had my first 5-star read of the month, and this was Close to You by Nissa Renzo. I'd seen so many reels about this book on my For You page, and I decided to finally pick it up. This book follows Ashby and Milo, and they are foster siblings. Milo came to their house when she was 5, and Ashby, as well as their older brother, were also adopted. Milo is mute, and the book mainly follows her trying to navigate her struggles with what she went through as a child, and it also has a very heavy focus on the bullying that she faces in the present. I'm very curious about Ashby's story because that's something the author hasn't really touched on, save for 1 or 2 flashbacks in the first book, but the author has also confirmed that each couple in the series is getting 2 books, so that's something I really hope she delves deeper into. I did have back-to-back 5 stars in April because after that I read Unbound by Peyton Curran, and if I could give this book infinity stars, I would. This was my book of the month. One thing that I have started doing in my reading journal after I posted my last flip through was giving my books of the month dedicated spreads. This is what they look like. This was March, Kingdom of Ash. This is April, Unbound, and it's basically just the cover, and then there's a little bit of Bennett Paloma fan art, and then quotes and a little bit of journaling about why I chose this book as my book of the month. So Unbound follows Bennett and Paloma. It is a second chance college hockey romance, and it is told in dual timelines, with the first being their kind of first attempt at a relationship and the second being the present. Bennett is the neurodivergent goalie for the university hockey team, and Paloma is known around campus as sort of the party girl who has a reputation. I think Paloma honestly was the most heartbreaking part of this book. I'd guessed the truth about her past, but watching it unfold through her own POV with flashbacks and that first timeline was... I honestly think Ben and P have overtaken Ro and Matt for favorite couple in this series. Then we went right back to fantasy for some reason, and I read The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. I also got this for my birthday. This is the first book in the Rose Bargain duology, and it's basically what you get if Bridgerton and the Cruel Prince had a baby. Basically, during the War of Roses, which was an actual historical event, it was a civil war between 2 houses trying to decide who was king. This fake queen shows up on the battlefield, and she tells one side, I'll make you king, and she strikes a bargain with him, and then she kills that king and takes over rule of England, and she has ruled England for about 400 years after that. It is now 1848 in London, and Lady Ivy Benton is getting ready to make her debut in society. Her family is currently being shunned because her sister made a bargain with the queen. Now everybody makes a bargain with the queen. Like all the ladies about to make their debut, they all make a bargain with the queen, but Lydia's bargain with the queen, nobody knows what it was because Lydia doesn't remember. It was a really big scandal, so nobody is, inviting the Bentons anywhere. That year, the queen's son, Prince Bram, he announces that he intends to find a wife this season. And so Ivy enters the competition to win Bram's hand in marriage, but she finds herself entangled in this plot with Bram's human brother Prince Emmett to ensure that she's the one who wins the competition because they want to dethrone the queen. All I have to say about this book is holy plot twist. The second book in that duology is called The Thorn Queen. I did read it. I won't tell you much about it because it will spoil the ending of the first book, and I need you to experience that in real time. But there was so much angst in this book, and I love angst, and I was just terrified the entire time, but it was such a good read. The 10th book I read this month was Release Me by Tahira Mafi. This is the second book in the Shatter Me the New Republic series, and I also can't tell you much about the plot of this book if you haven't read Watch Me, so I suggest you go read Watch Me. But I will tell you that I think Watch Me was much, much better, and Release Me was a little bit disappointing. It was so fast-paced. I finished it in 2 hours. I blinked and it was gone. It did feel kind of repetitive. The same thing just kept happening again and again and again, but on the bright side, we got Warner's POV. Now, this book I finished at 12:30 a.m. last night. It is the 1st of May today, by the way. So I'm counting it as an April read because I read most of it in April. This is the last and final book in the Lakefront Billionaires trilogy, which was Love Arranged by Lauren Asher. These are a series of 3 interconnected standalones that each follow a different couple in Lake Wisteria, which is a small town that was first introduced in the Dreamland Billionaire series, which if you haven't read that, read it, it's fun. This book follows Lorenzo Vittori and Lily Munoz. The trope here is a fake relationship, it's a fake engagement. Lorenzo is trying to run for mayor in Lake Wisteria, but people don't really like him there, so he decides, I need to get with the people's princess, the town sweetheart, and so he and Lily entered this fake arrangement. It was really good, actually. Well, it wasn't my favorite book in the series, but it was still really good. My favorite book in the series was Love Unwritten. I don't think Lauren Asher will ever beat Love Unwritten. And that is it for today's video. If you stayed around till the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And I will see you next time.